You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
Well, this is Saturday, February the 2nd, and you have entered overtime where tonight, this one is for the Groundhogs. The outside world may be talking football on this super weekend, but this day is basketball Christmas here in the Tri-States, and after an exhilarating start on Friday, the KHQA Subway Superfan shootout kicked into hyperdrive on this Saturday. 9 games in all with no bigger storyline than those dynastic Quincy Notre Dame Lady Raiders trying to run the table on a killer 72-hour basketball gauntlet, and they saved the hardest for last. Rolling Meadows, number 3 in the state in 4A, 3 Division I recruits, a team whose only loss came to Lombard Montini, and we saw early on just how good Alexis Glasgow is. Division I recruit, hearing from many teams in the Big East. She shows you there with a three-point play. Beautiful stuff, but Quincy Notre Dame not deterred. Mary Beth Hugenberg fighting after her own miss puts that back. QND with the lead at the other end, though. Great passing from the speedy Jackie Kemp to Ashley Montanez, who finishes nicely for her team. QND would answer. It was this kind of game. Quinna Keating wide open and at the free throw line, and that's going to go down. Then it's Jordan Frericks doing that Jordan Frericks thing. Catch and release. It's good. She scores, and then Cassidy Gengenbacher going to heat up. Quincy Notre Dame would lead by as many as 11 the first half. However, that lead would be trimmed to 3 despite the better heroics of the Cassidys there. That's Cassidy Foley with a 3 of her own, and then it's Kristen Gengenbacher with the up and under. But as I said, QND only up 3 at the end of the half. Rolling Meadows starts off the second half with blistering shooting from the outside. A couple of different three-point shots make this happen, including one there by Glasgow, tying the game up at 43 at that point. QND tries to fight back and get the lead in this one. It's Cassidy to Kristen right here on the fast break. Quincy Notre Dame's lead 53-49. But again, Rolling Meadows goes on a run on the down low right here. Oh my goodness, great bucket as Rolling Meadows certainly had some size and some strength down low. Fourth quarter, here comes Jackie Kemp again, scoring with her speed, putting Rolling Meadows up 61-57. That's 3 days in a row Quincy Notre Dame trailed in the second half. Here comes the defense, though. Jordan Frericks, player of the year last year, working on building another resume. Great take for her. Then it's Cassidy with the steal, hooking up with Frericks right here on the layup that ties the game up at 61 apiece. QND was up 2 possessions, but Rolling Meadows would hit 2 straight threes to tie this thing up at 71 with under a minute left to play. QND would call a timeout. 13 seconds left in the game. Final possession of regulation. Cassidy with the three-pointer. She's going to miss. She steals the rebound, though, and misses again. So we, my friends, are headed to overtime. It wouldn't be a Superfan shootout without some drama, and we had plenty. But in the OT, Quincy Notre Dame just threw it into hyperdrive in this one. From the outside, that, my friends, is Kristen with the three-pointer. Miss Gengenbacher, if you will. Then the other Miss Gengenbacher, if you will. Cassidy for 3. It's 79-74 QND. 2 minutes left. The Raiders think free throws to get this thing done. They hold on. Miss Frericks and Miss Cassidy Gengenbacher share your honors. Even our camera guy's excited. He dropped the thing as Quincy Notre Dame has reason to celebrate. They run this impossible gauntlet and get it done. Final count in overtime tonight, 87-82. We'll get to the boys in just a bit because they're wrapping up as we speak a little bit later in overtime. We want to bring you those highlights, so let's move on to the other boys' marquee game of the day. That would be West Hancock and Ellsbury. This young lady excited to cheer on Ellsbury and her dad. She's a far better dancer than her old man, who happens to be Coach Ryan Parker. Early on, Kenny Leslie sets the tone in this game. Great stuff with the block right there, so the Titans do what they do better than anybody else. Adjust, go to the outside. You saw buckets right there from the outside by Cord Dorothy, then Austin Hardy. Here comes the comeback in this one. Adam Sherrow right there with the take as Ellsbury tries to answer. Just too much in this one. We're just calling him Trevor Sniper from now on. Great bucket for 3 from Trevor, and then more threes here from Coy Dorothy. Oh, you know what? It's an 11-point lead for West Hancock. Kenny Leslie, though, going to answer, the big fella. All 6'8" of him, a sophomore getting Division I looks. He shows you the smooth game there. But you know what? The Titans in the first half just kept answering with different guys. Devin Rings with the 3 right there. Second half, down 11. Ellsbury tries to throw it into hyperdrive. Charles Fraction right here trims that lead down to single digits, but that would be when we get to Paxton Harmon time. And this, my friends, is Paxton Harmon in full repose. He was everywhere in this ball game in the second half. Nobody could stop him. Nobody could do a thing about it. Just a fantastic showing by a Player of the Year candidate, maybe your Player of the Year leader at this point. Tell you what, Paxton Harmon can flat get it done, and he flat got it done in this one. Great game for him as he ends up with 30 points. West Hancock now 20-5 on the season. Ellsbury falls to 11-9. In the end, 55-36 was your final in that ball game. Earlier in the day, another great pairing, Payson Seymour and Knox County, or at least it looked like it on paper. It started out okay for Knox County. Two teams coming off great wins last night. Somebody's momentum would end early on. Well, it would be Payson trying to set the tone with Dalton Speckhart drawing the three-point play. Couldn't finish it, but an aggressive tone set by his team. Royce Poor answering. Great take here on the quick pass, but the scoring would suddenly dry up quickly for the Eagles after that. And you know what? I tell you what, Payson Seymour played better at 10:30 in the morning than any team I've ever seen play at 10:30 in the morning. Cody Hildebrand, he was a big part of that. Great take for him. Cody Hildebrand, oh, great take for him as well right there. He was good. You know what, Royce Poor trying to answer. Had a three right there, but that would be as close as this game would get. Payson Seymour in full attack. It was a coming out party of sorts for young point guard Dalton Edwards. He had 16 points on the day, and nobody could get in his way. Nobody could stop him. Then defense from Cody Hildebrand. Great take right here. This kid can flat do it at all ends of the floor. Great steal. Hooks up with Jake Voss, who had 16 points in the day and was your MVP of this game. Jacob Farr also showing out for us right here with a sensational seven-worthy, almost a, what do you want to call it, a Lucy Cramsey up and under. Great stuff from him, as it would be Payson Seymour just destroying Knox County today, winning in a blowout this game. 65-32 was your final. North Lawndale, after the loss to Quincy Notre Dame, trying to bounce back. Lewis Thorpe, I'm told, is a Macomb native, was born there, trying to lead his North Lawndale team to a 1-1 split after the loss to QND. Illini West, fresh off that upset from Rock Ridge last night, trying to capitalize on that momentum. Early on, Braden Carroll would do exactly that. Good first quarter for the Chargers as he gets the take, but it would be answered at the other end. Marquise Jefferson bombing from long range with that three. Brody Gronwald, though, he can bomb as well. He had answers working inside and out, first of all, from the corner right here for the three. DeMontre Enos, though, would answer. The first quarter, very push and shove, very nip and tuck in this game. It was close. Unfortunately for Illini West, the second quarter they're undoing. They didn't score a field goal. Brody Gronwald's 18 points kind of wasted in this game, as down the stretch, North Lawndale closes this thing out, gets the win today over the Chargers. Final count in this one, 64-52. Pittsfield and Silex, pretty exciting game earlier in the day as well. Brad Tomhave's team looking for defense. Good first half for the Saukeys, or at least a really good first quarter, spurred by this guy, Ethan Barrowman, who had 8 in the first frame. Great take for him as well off the steal. Then from the outside, Eli Petty lights up for three, and it is good. Ethan Barrowman making his presence felt everywhere today. More on him in a second. First of all, Dylan Woodward, though, great take in the low blocks. As Pittsfield built a big lead early, Silex would erase a lot of it, though, and then Pittsfield would answer right back. There's Barrowman again, and then the guy who you call on when you need scoring and you're a Sauke fan, Wade Smith, stepping up his game. That's just absolutely magnificent contortion to get that bucket to fall. Wade again. Boy, Wade Smith just kind of doing it there, finding the windows and the plexiglass at the pit to his liking. He had 22 on the day. Pittsfield, as they often do in this tournament, with another win. Brad Tomhave just wins and wins and wins at the Superfan. His team does it again today. 53-48 was your final. In non-Superfan boys action today, boy, it was a tough weekend for Sean Taylor and the Blue Devils as they lose to a tough Geneva team, 69-55. The Blue Devils fall to 15-8 on the season, 0-2 on the weekend. They lost to Galesburg, of course, last night. Meanwhile, Griggsville Perry loses on the road to Central, 58-48 in a potential regional matchup down the road. Also, we've got, boy, not the storybook ending we hoped for on Bobby Hoffman tribute night tonight for the Jacksonville Crimsons. They lose to a very good Springfield Southeast team tonight, 67-54. Josh Peak had 20 in the loss for the Crimsons, and Holy Trinity today takes care of business against Central Lee on the road, 66-25. One more to leave you with, a great pairing today in the La Plata Tournament Championship game between Cairo, the team that ousted our friends from Canton last year, and the undefeated Tigers. I'll tell you what, a revenge match in order today. Austin Hoeing starts it off, and then off the Austin Hoeing miss right here, it's the big fella, Gabe McKenzie, finishing strong. Cairo, though, using the three ball to stick close all night long in this ball game, and they can sure shoot it. But you know what? Nobody in the tri-states can match the energy. Actually, those highlights are, I guess, finished right now. Nobody can match the energy of the great Canton Ball Club. Austin Hoeing a big night, as too did our friend Mr. Cameron Durst, who had a couple of nice buckets in this one. Canton wins, stays undefeated, moves to 20-0, 66-60 was your final there. And some IESA notes to pass along. Unfortunately, the news not good on any front for all of our 7th graders out there. Carthage wins to start the day thanks to an 18-point outing today from Connor Artman. But unfortunately, Carthage's state championship dreams and undefeated season dreams are dashed today in the semifinals as Carthage would lose in that game to Robinson. Final count in that one was 50-36. Also today, Brown County's dreams of a state championship come to an end in the state quarterfinals. They lose to Metcalf due to the Hornets 54-47. Darian Drake, though, nice showing for the Hornets in that game. And Virginia in Class A loses today to Scotland. 38-30 is your final. And we, my friends, are just getting warmed up, I should say. I'm trying to get warmed up here on the Big Overtime. We've got plenty more ahead for you, including those late arriving highlights from a Superfan showdown finale that is turning out to be a classic between QND and Marquette, plus all the day's girls action and even a smattering of playoff wrestling, all in just 2 minutes.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar, brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. For all the super fanning being done on the hardwoods today, this was still just regular season action. For the region's best wrestlers, however, do or die time has begun in the land of Lincoln. It was, in fact, regional time. Class 1A at Macomb today. We'll start you off in the quarterfinals at 120. QND's Darren Stevens working in the second period, 2 points on the takedown. He would win by pin today in 3:59, ends up finishing second on the day at his weight class, booking his passage to sectional. Let's move on up to 152. Another Quincy Notre Dame wrestler, Blake Schutte. Boy, he's going to work right here very well, getting the ankle pick and the takedown, turns his man on his shoulders and registers the pin in the quarterfinals. Blake finishes third on the day, which means it's good enough to punch his ticket to sectionals as well. So the Raiders had 8 total qualifiers on the day, 3 different champions, more on that in just a second, and a couple of alternates. So good day for them. At 182 pounds, all arms and legs, it's Matt Supernaut working for his back points right there. He was dominant from start to finish in this one, as he's going to get back points after back points on his way to a tech ball victory at 16-0. As you would expect, Matt Supernaut rolls through the regional on his home floor today, picking up the championship and heading off to sectionals with plenty of momentum. So congratulations to Matt. 195, we've owed Jeffrey Haley for a while, the Quincy Notre Dame product, working from the bottom here, picking up a reversal, and then would overwhelm his opponent here in the quarterfinals for the pinfall victory. Jeffrey Haley picking up a championship today as part of that great Quincy Notre Dame onslaught. More on the Raiders in just a second. At 106 pounds, we move on up to the semifinals. Will Lucy out of West Hancock, the Fab freshman. Not much scoring in this one, as Will just kind of made it a quick affair to move into the championship round, where he at 106 pounds would be your champion today. Quick pin here, victory for Will. His big brother Jack doing work as well at 126 pounds, working very quickly and aggressively as well with the early takedown in his semifinal match, and then wraps up with the cradle, getting the pin in the first period. Not a lot of wasted motion, just economy of time as well for Jack Lucy, heading off as a champion of the regional. One more for you at 138, Gage Stevens of Quincy Notre Dame. He's going to win in the semifinals by pinfall as well, and he's going to look good doing it. Gains the advantage in the second period and really never looks back in this one as Gage Stevens joins the onslaught, headed to sectionals. Congratulations to all the wrestlers that we mentioned there, and a few more who are heading off to the sectional as regional champions. They include, among them, a couple of Beardstown Tigers, including Tucker Harn, including David Acosta at 152, Dakota Longley at 160, Zach Abney from Pittsfield, and Lucas Dively at the heavyweight division from Camp Point Central. Congratulations to all. Not the only sectional qualifiers today. Quincy High is sending 3 guys off to the sectional, including a regional champion at 170 pounds in Dakota Downs. Also Trevor Schutte, Jared Straube going off as third place finishers today, and Stephen Heil among the alternates from Quincy High. So good showing for the Blue Devils down at Granite City today. Regular season action today for the Hannibal Pirates at Francis Howell. 4 champions on the day, including the incredible Tyler Janes. So good momentum building for Derek Greening's team as they start pushing towards the postseason. Back to the Superfan now. Girls action, maybe the best showing of the day. One of the most thrilling games, I can tell you that. Route and West Hancock going at it. And early on, Shelby Kaler, boy, she was going to dominate this game. More on her in a second. Jessie Dietrich opens up what would be a barrage of threes in this game. 25 in all. More on that in just a second. She was good from 3. Alexis Dooley, good, cleaning up messes as well as she gets inside right here and somehow comes up with a loose ball and finishes it up strongly for her team. West Hancock about to go on a run in the first period in this game. It's Haley Hamill finding Shelby Kaler running free, and Shelby Kaler in the first 9 minutes of this game was just ridiculous. I will show you her shooting threes. She did it with aplomb. In the first period, 15 points alone. She had 20 points in this ball game, 9 minutes deep. She also got some help from her defense, Allison DeWald, the swipe and the score at the other end. And I'll tell you what, I mentioned the fact that Shelby Kaler was knocking down threes. Carly Runge was knocking down threes as well. As she hits one here, it's an 18-point lead at the half for West Hancock. Game over, right? Not when you have the three-pointer in play, and not when Natalie Helpin is still alive and breathing. She had 27 points in the day. Rout comes all the way back, takes a couple of separate one-point leads in the fourth quarter before West Hancock reestablishes. Boy, I tell you what, an exhilarating game. Eventually, West Hancock wins it in maybe the best game we saw today, or at least one of them. West Hancock with the big win by 11 finally is a good win for the Titans in that ball game. Elsewhere on the docket today, Illini West going at it with West Central. This game was kind of fun as well. Low-scoring affair, and it starts with Aubrey Carlisle doing a strong take right here, kissing one off the glass for the easy deuce early. Abby Lashman going to answer for the Cougars on the inside. She is the inside presence for West Central, and Brian Bettis' team reestablishing quickly some dominance down low. Gracie Bostard, she was your MVP. I think she was your MVP of this tournament back in her sophomore year as well when she scored 30. Not quite that many points today, but she would answer everything Katie Carmody and the Cougars could throw at her. More Gracie right here coming up strong. Beautiful steal for her, and she'll just slip by you and score. Great day for Gracie Bostard as Illini West wins. Bostard with 18. She was the MVP. Illini West beats West Central 40-32 was your final. One more for you. Third time around for Larry Loggeman and the Clopton Lady Hawks against Calhoun. Once more with feeling, if you will, and early on, Shelby Hain wants nothing to do with any more tight games. These two games previously decided by 1 or 2 points. This one decided by much more than that as Hain hits the three-pointer there. Spencer Hicks trying to answer with a 3 for her team. But by that point, Abby Klunk and company had just kind of separated in this ball game, and Calhoun gets the big victory today. 57-29 was your final in that ball game. One more for you of a non-Superfan type nature to pass along today. On the road against a very good Piasaw Southwestern team, Liberty Payson comes up short today, losing 38-65. Madeline Heyer with 12 points and 9 rebounds in that contest. Well, it's time now to introduce our latest Con Communications connection for the month of January, our last for the month of January, offering you, our viewers, a chance to vote for the most spectacular play of the month, and in so doing, earning yourself a prize package from Con Communications. Here's the skinny. We give you a smattering of nominees from each week, and then when the calendar turns, we put up a ballot for your consideration, which will happen this week at connecttristates.com. If you vote, regardless of who you vote for, you're eligible to win. It's as simple as that. Your last nominee, another game winner. This one, though, not a buzzer beater of traditional fashion. It was simply Jake Voss last night taking over as Payson wins a 2-point decision against Liberty. Jake Voss showing great guts on the take and on the finish. And that, my friends, is good stuff, joining a host of buzzer beaters this month. They'll all be listed online starting on Monday. Vote. We'll announce our winner on Saturday. It's a great prize package. I guarantee you will enjoy it. Coming up next on Overtime, we review a very busy day of college basketball, and finally, that QND Alton Marquette showdown you've been waiting for, straight ahead. As promised, QND Alton Marquette, Scott Douglas's team taking on an outstanding, talented Marquette squad. Down 3 at this point, ball tipped around. Matt Doan doing some hustling right there, trying to get his team back into this one. And then it's Doan again, atoning for what's been a kind of a tough week. Matt Doan showed up strong tonight. Great take for him, putting QND up 28-27 at that point. Chris Dietrich's turn right here, driving and hitting the short baseline jumper. QND's lead now 30-29. Alex Fitch, have a night. He always plays well in the Superfan right here, putting QND up 32-29 with a 2. Drew Eaton, the big star from last night, slips inside for the and 1. It's 37-31 QND at that point. Dion Lavender, though, bringing his team back. He is a smooth cat. Great take for him on the spinorama move. Oh, that's pretty stuff right there. QND up 37-35 after 3, but Marquette would surge behind Jake Coddington on this tip-in, all 6'7" of him, and they would go up by 5 in the fourth quarter. Amazing finish to this ball game as QND rallies with 0.6 seconds left. Tell you what, a couple of free throws from Alex Fitch, a couple of tees by Marquette's coach, and a couple of more free throws seals the deal as QND gets it done. Mr. Fitch finishes with 20 points on the night. Matthew McPherson with 10. QND improves to 17-5 on the season with a, well, you can call that a red-letter victory because it was every bit of that for the Raiders on this night. College docket, Western Illinois on the road beats IUPUI 68-59 was your final. The news good for Culver Stockton as well, as they absolutely would destroy Peru State today. First half of this ball game, all about the Wildcats in this one, and it was all about resourcefulness, as you will see Austin Keaton right here working his way into the blocks, cleaning up the trash, and somehow scooping that ball in. Might have been slop, but it works well enough for Austin. 45-24 at that point. James Johnson doing that slashing thing. JJ working it right here, and that's pretty good stuff. Mario Gully also working some defense in this game. He's going to come up with the huge and high wattage swattage to kind of seal this thing out. Culver Stockton never threatened in this game. The Wildcats playing very well today. 99-65 was your final. The QU men, boy, the news not nearly as good. They were up, or excuse me, they were down in the first half and about to get down worse, although Chris Babbitt trying his best to carve a place in the lane and try to get some of that back right here. Early take for him is good. Then Ryan Stuckman going to hook up here with Dalton Hoover, and the Hoover maneuver is good at that point. Hoover's three off the mark right here. Tyler Thompson kind of gets his mojo back working as he's going to clean up with the left hand here. Unfortunately, not nearly enough in this ball game as Quincy University's struggles continue. The Hawks sort of sliding as of late and not playing very well at all. They lose today. Final count in this one sees the Hawks go down to defeat 70-61, I believe, was how that one ended up. Also today on the men's college docket, some scores to pass along to you. HLG, a winner over Benedictine. Mario Dean with a double-double in the victory there. And John Wood today taking out ICC on the road. 76-57 was your final in that ball game. The QU women blowout today, and they look good doing it as well. Aaron Medemeyer scoring right here in the post and kind of setting the tone for the rest of the ball game, which was pretty much decided early. Kara Gerbus going to work the offensive glass, do some nice things from there as well, as she's going to clean up nicely as she's right there and cleans up her own miss and cleans up really nicely as well. More Gerbus this time backing her way down into the two. Good day as well for Lucy Cramsey, the Liberty product. She had a really nice day yet again, as she would finish the day just shy of a double-double with 9 points, 10 rebounds. Lucy Cramsey just showing out once again as Quincy University gets the victory today, improves to 9-2 in conference play, and as I said, looks good doing it on the affair. Meanwhile, other women's college scores to pass along. Peru State, they had the lead. Culver Stockton, though, comes all the way back and gets the victory 76-71. The Western women fall to 3-6 in conference play, losing to IUPUI 61-55. The John Wood women today, losers on the road at Lewis and Clark 74-63. And HLG gets a win over Benedictine of Springfield.